and welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas, a remote episode this week because Ollie Davis isn't very well and, well, we're just a bit remote this week. But I am Luke Owen, I'm joined by Laurie Blake. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
On this week's show, we're getting hyped about Venom 2 with all the excitement around its end credits scene.
We'll go through the latest releases, including 12 Mighty Orphans, Herself, and the re-release of Ghost in the Shell.
We've got an interview with Shang-Chi star Fala Chen.
And we'll go through the movies that you can pre-book tickets for right now. But first up, I think it's time to go over a topic that you and I actually did talk about just a few weeks ago, it seems like, maybe a couple of months ago now, which is this Venom There Be Carnage post-credits scene. Now, we had talked about it because there'd been Tom Hardy had made some comments about it. Tom Holland has made some comments about it. Various people have said, wouldn't it be cool if Spider-Man were to show up? But we now have got early fan reactions from the first screening of Venom Let There Be Carnage, which was at Cineworld Cinemas. And I think this is a pretty good tactic because I think the critics were a bit down on the first one, but fans absolutely loved it. So I think it's really good to put this out in front of fans first. And the reaction to this movie has been, quite exceptional, really.
Yeah, people are really raving about this mystery end credits scene. No one's posted any spoilers so far, which good on you. Well done, the internet. You've done it for once. For the first time ever, the internet has achieved not spoiling the end of a film. But people are talking about this end credits scene and saying something incredibly exciting happens at the end of Venom 2. What that might be, I feel like the obvious choice is it's just Spider-Man turning up in Venom's world. So like in the Sony Spider-Verse kind of comes full circle and gets kind of formed here. Mm-hmm. But weirdly, this one's out before Spider-Man No Way Home, where we're obviously in the multiverse in the MCU. So like, what does that mean? Like, is the MCU and the Sonyverse the same thing? Well, if Spider-Man turns up in there, what does it mean particularly? Like, does that mean that Venom's kind of happening in the middle of No Way Home or after No Way Home in the timeline? We don't really know any of that stuff. We don't know it's Spider-Man. It might be someone else. It might be blooming Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, like a classic Spider-Man villain. It could be anything. It could be Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. You know, it's got to be something that has resonance with Spider-Man fans and probably with people who've been watching Sony's Spider-Man movies. But I feel like Spider-Man's obvious, but I don't know. It could be anything.
Well, let's go through some of the comments that we've had, because Ren Geekness said, the biggest strength of Venom Let There Be Carnage is the frantic pacing and exhilarating action, matching the kinetic energy Tom Hardy has with himself. Woody Harrelson is relishing as Cletus Carnage and is perfect in the role. Oh my God, stay for the credits.
Emotionally invested Tony Khan Stan said, I was lucky enough to be among the first to finally get to see Venom Let There Be Carnage. I adored it. The first Venom is my favorite of the modern MCU films, and Venom makes all the smart next steps, telling a very human and very beautiful story for Eddie Brock.
And MNL Callum said, in my whole life, I've never seen a whole movie theater react as loud as they did to the Venom 2 end credit scenes. Sony delivered. I mean, these are some pretty big words here, right? So you mentioned Spider-Man. Maybe it's just, Venom is just hanging out or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like, one of those little circle things appears, like the teleporting circle thing, and Doctor Strange steps through, or, like Wanda Maximoff steps through, or something like that. Like, I really feel like, I don't really know what this could possibly be. Obviously, I don't. But the reaction to this from fans who have been to see this movie has got me, like, insanely excited now.
Because I feel like Spider-Man is so obvious that why is the reaction being like, this is crazy? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not Spider-Man's not crazy. Like, Spider-Man's obvious.
That makes sense.
I feel like my moonshot prediction is it might be like Thor or something like that. Like, because Thor's new film, Love and Thunder, he's going up against Gore the God Butcher, who in the comics uses a weapon called All Black the Necrosword, which belongs to Null, the god of the symbiotes. and Venom is a symbiote.
Right,
and then there's a trickle down. There's a connection there, but that's like a moonshot connection. I just don't. It's got to be what could it be? Could it be could it be the Spider-Man from in Venom's universe of Spider-Man? Is like Tobey Maguire or it's Andrew Garfield?
Yeah. The only other thing I could think it could possibly be is that maybe this ties into some of the other Sony movies in the Spider-Verse they've got coming out, because Morbius is coming out next year. That's January 2022. And they did also announce Kraven the Hunter with Aaron Taylor Johnson, which is coming out in January 2023. So maybe this is our first look at Taylor Johnson in the role of Kraven, who is like a beloved character from the Spider Universe, which I think would elicit this sort of reaction online.
Craven? I don't know. Don't know if Craven's big enough, man. Like, I don't know. I really am so keen to see what this is. It the Fantastic Four, Luke?
Wolverine.
Is it the Fantastic Four? Is it Wolverine?
Something.
I mean, it's got to be something
nuts.
Yeah, I don't think it can be a continuation of Sony Spider-Verse. Like, I think people are excited by Sony Spider-Verse expanding. But yeah, Kraven, Morbius, the kind of knock-on effects of these films setting up each other. One, it's been done in the MCU. We kind of expect it almost from these superhero universes. So it's got to be some sort of crossover something, Luke. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either, but I was pretty excited for Venom Let There Be Carnage anyway, but I feel like now I'm now pushed over the edge in terms of my excitement for this film. Some of the big releases that we have got this week include 12 Mighty Orphans, which is a football-based true story, American football that is set within the Great Depression. Now,
soccer, as we call it over here.
I think it's funny people who sort of followed us and followed the work that we've done. We're not big sports ball heads, but do you know what I do love? Movies about sports ball. I've never watched a baseball game in my life, but I love watching baseball-based movies. And I have the same thing with American football as well.
Yeah, well, this has got sort of like a Mighty Ducks style story going on within it, but just set a lot earlier. And it's kind of like it's a feel good sports related. The sports is kind of tangential, I feel, to the overall plot of like these plucky orphans turn out to be very good at football, and to get away from having to do hard labor in the orphanage, they become good at football and they get to go around the country doing all these matches, which is quite cool.
On the other end of the spectrum, we've got Herself, which I'm really excited to see. It looks like it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, though. I would say, it's about this single mother escaping an abusive partner, like literally building like a home at the bottom of this garden. Like it looks like it's going to be a pretty hard going. I feel like there's going to be a wonderful emotional core to this that is going to make you like leave the cinema with this incredible elated sense. But at the same time, I mean, you've got to be broken down before you can be built back up again.
Absolutely. The journey is going to be incredibly tough to get to that lovely moment where, the house is complete and she gets to move in there with her kids, which you're kind of assuming will be the end of the film. But yeah, it looks like the trailer makes it look like a really uplifting way to get there. And like you said, you've got to be beaten down before you can be raised back up.
We've also got For the Kids, again, looking at other ends of the spectrum. Thomas and Friends Race for Soda Cup. I don't think this movie is made for you and I in particular, men in our 30s. However, boy, when I was a kid, I absolutely loved Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, no, Thomas is an all-time classic for kids. But my big question, Luke, is how do you race trains? How many tracks have you got beside each other going in the exact same direction? It makes no sense, Thomas. Sort it out. I
mean, we got slot car racing, you could argue, like Scalextrics is, they're all on, there's just tracks next to each other. It's how you take them corners, I think, is where the race really comes into it.
Got to take the pedal off.
Exactly.
And then go again on the other side.
But we have also got a couple of pretty big re-releases in cinemas at the moment, including the 4K restoration of A Clockwork Orange and an IMAX re-release of the 1994 anime classic Ghost in the Shell, We had the big screen reboot of Ghost in the Shell a few years back with Scarlett Johansson, which I don't think many people particularly loved. So maybe this could be the impetus for people to go back and not reevaluate, but sort of like go back and see the original source material and what people really loved from that film. Because I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell in probably since I was a student, which is, going like 15 odd years ago now.
Yeah, I think this is it. It's one of those anime classics that really inspired a generation of different kind of sci-fi movies coming out of it, and like really did set a lot of the precedent for the way that kind of modern sci-fi is kind of played off its different characteristics. So it's well worth going to see on the big screen for sure, because what a treat to see that. Only in IMAX as well. So yeah, that's amazing. Like seeing on the biggest possible screen. That's awesome.
Yeah. And same with the Clockwork Orange as well, like a wonderful 4K restoration for this. And again, a movie I haven't seen in so long. And what better way to re-watch it again than on the big screen in a great restoration.
I hear they're going to make you watch it with your eyes taped open, though. So look out for that.
But those aren't the only films that you can check out at Cineworld Cinemas, because of course you've also got Malignant, Cop Shop, Respect, Candyman, Free Guy, the Paw Patrol movie, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's a pretty packed week for cinema. I don't know what my pick of the week is yet. I had Malignant as my pick last week. I had Shang-Chi the week before that. I haven't stopped thinking about Shang-Chi, so maybe I'm just going to pick that again. But I think I'm leaning more towards the IMAX re-release of Ghost in the Shell as the film that I'm really excited to check out this week.
I think that's a really great shout. I'm gonna plump for Free Guy again, because I thought Free Guy was so much better than it had any right to be, and it just has some wonderful little cameos and moments that if you are a Ryan Reynolds fan and if you are a Disney fan, are going to make you sit up and take notice.
Well, speaking of Shang-Chi, which was going to be my pick again this week because it's so darn good, I was lucky enough to sit down with one of its stars, Fala Chen, to talk about how she got cast in the movie. You had a pretty, I believe, quite a unique experience in getting cast in this movie. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was on my honeymoon with my husband, obviously, not with anyone else, in Antarctica. And so I told my agents ahead of time that I would not be reachable because there's no reception there. But yes, of course, that's the time Marvel decided to call us to offer me the part. And eventually they found us and delivered the good news. But it was definitely the highlight of our honeymoon.
Now, this is going to be on the big screen at Cineworld Cinemas. We're showing this in IMAX, 3D, in 4DX. Have you heard about 4DX?
Yes, I'm really excited to try. I have not tried yet, but I'm going to try it in New York, I think. Yeah, I think it's the perfect movie to experience in either IMAX or 4DX because there's so much action, there's so much movement. You kind of just want to move with us and you kind of want to like feel the wind that's like when we're flying through air. So definitely I think it will add another level to the experience.
We talked about this last week, but the offer is still there and it's available until October 31st. For all of you commitment phobes, if you get your unlimited card right now, you don't have to sign up for 12 months. You only have to sign up for 3, and it's available from £9.99 per month. Like 3 months, that's going to take you through to the end of the year. And boy, howdy, if we got some big movies coming out before this year is done. Like looking at the list, what's your kind of pick? Like if you are getting your Cineworld Unlimited card now, which I know you already do have, but if you were to get another one, a new one perhaps, what movie do you think is like that's jumping off the screen to you that you want to check out?
Oh man, like there are so many. You've got like this week, this month, you got Shang-Chi, you got Venom next month, you've got Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Dune, Matrix. There are so many good films to go and see. I feel like I've been rewatching them because obviously the new one's coming out. I've been rewatching the Matrix films. I think The Matrix will be my pick, because that is a return to the seminal. That is a return to cinema for the seminal 90s franchise. Like, it's a big deal that The Matrix is coming back. And yeah, that initial trailer looks amazing. So I cannot wait to see what they do with that on the big screen, and like what effects they kind of choose to go with, because it's been quite kind of, they've played it close to their chest, I think, in terms of like how much like The Matrix is the new Matrix. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, but you know what? Don't just take our word for it, because I will just say Ghostbusters Afterlife. Why don't you watch this little video here and make up your own mind? And you can pre-book tickets for some of the films that were featured in that little video clip there, including James Bond, No Time to Die. Did you see the announcement of its runtime as well? It's like,
no, I did.
It's like 2.5 hours. That feels like there's plenty of time to die. Like,
I think they've been cramming. They've been putting more in it. The more it's got, like, the more it's got delayed. They've just been adding bits to the end. Like, I can't believe it's actually coming out, Luke. I don't believe it.
Yeah, just walking into the editing bay, being like, you know what? I think we can put that scene in. Really, you know, I know. I said 2 months ago that we weren't going to put it in, but I think we can actually just add it back in. But you're right. Like, we've been waiting on this for so long. I can't believe it's actually finally here, and we get to see it on the big screen, and so soon as well. Like, it's the end of this month, Laurie. It's not even like gotta wait a little bit for it. It's like a week's time, basically.
I'm super excited for this.
You can also pre-book tickets for The Many Saints of Newark, which has got previews on Wednesday, the 22nd of September. And, of course, the 20th anniversary screening of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, showing from the 29th to the 31st of October. What are your favorite moments from the original Harry Potter film?
How bad all the actors are. No, it's they get there, don't they? Bless them.
They get there.
I think from the original, I think, like, I don't have much love for the Harry Potter films overall, but I feel like the magic was there in the first one when you read the books and you were like, wow, I can't believe they're kind of turning this into a film. And I think the faithfulness of that recreation and seeing all the kind of wizarding world brought to life for the very first time is something that, like, I think that kind of magic of seeing it on the big screen will bring back the magic of Harry Potter.
And of course, you can still pre-book your tickets for Oasis live at Nebworth in 1996, which will be screened on the 23rd of September, and Cliff Richard, the Great 80s Tour, which will be screened on the 27th of October, 2021. If you are interested in either of those movies, do click the links in the video description down below to pre-book your tickets. And you can actually click the links down below for all the other films that we have talked about in today's episode of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. Please do subscribe to this channel if this is your first time watching us. Download the audio podcast version of this, which has got extra audio gumph on it at the intro and the outro, where we read your YouTube comments. So please do join us over there on your podcast device of choice. Just search for Cineworld and you'll find it. I've been Luke Owen. That has been Laurie Blake. And that has been What's On.